Now here's Bryant.
All right, Willard, thanks. On Close Up this morning, Israel and the Gulf crisis. For the past 4 months, Israel has maintained a low profile as tensions in the Persian Gulf have escalated. But now with Secretary of State Baker scheduled to meet with Saddam Hussein in Baghdad and Iraqi Foreign Minister Tariq Aziz due to go to the White House, there are indications that Israel may be reevaluating its position. Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in our Tel Aviv studios this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I trust you've heard the report out of Iraq that Saddam Hussein has called for the lifting of all restrictions on all foreigners. What's your view of that development?
Well, I've just heard it, but it's long overdue. He shouldn't have done it in the first place. He certainly shouldn't be rewarded for rescinding a criminal act. He just should not do it.
You do view it as a positive development?
I think it's good if we have innocent people taken out of the way and brought home. But I don't think that Saddam Hussein should be rewarded. You know, the typical symptom here is that you have a gangster or somebody acting like a gangster, taking people, holding them by the throats, threatening to kill them, and then releasing them, and everybody goes bonkers over gratitude. He deserves no gratitude. He simply should do what is humanly decent and responsible.
But has it not removed in your mind what might have been for some a valid reason for going to war?
Oh, I don't want to get into the question of war. I think there's the question here is not war. The question here is what are the objectives of the international coalition led by the United States. We understand these objectives to be the removal or the reversal of Iraqi aggression against Kuwait, but equally to ensure an order of stability and peace in our region after that departure takes place from Kuwait. We support those goals, and we hope the United States can achieve them. If it can achieve them peacefully, so much the better.
You say you don't want to talk of war, but no less than Shimon Peres has said that the appearance is that Israel is trying to push the United States into war. And there's a report out of Jerusalem that Israel is demanding a commitment from the United States that America put an end to the Iraqi military threat.
I don't know about these reports. I do know what our policy is. We share, in fact, the policy with the United States. Because, you see, what is threatened by Iraq is not just Israel. Everybody is threatened by Iraq. If Saddam Hussein maintains, if he devours that prey and keeps it, he will go after other prey. If he gets out of Kuwait but remains with his war machine intact, who can say that tomorrow or a year or two from now he won't turn on some other target? It may not be Israel. It may be somebody else in the region. It could be Turkey. It could be Saudi Arabia again. It could be anyone. So the question is really, how do we neutralize the threat posed by this vast war machine that Iraq has in the wake of the Gulf crisis?
Are you denying that Foreign Minister Levy translated a message to U.S. Ambassador Brown that in effect asked for a U.S. commitment to end the Iraqi military threat?
Well, I don't get into diplomatic conversations, but I think I've stated our policy, and I think it's very much your policy. That is, the question is really, how do we ensure that these weapons of destruction, these missiles, these chemical weapons, the nuclear program that is fast accelerating in Iraq, that these do not pose a threat in the aftermath of the crisis, assuming he gets out of Kuwait. This is an issue for the entire international community. And again, if this can be done by peaceful means, we support it.
How concerned are you, sir, about the scheduled face-to-face meetings involving President Bush, Saddam Hussein, and their top advisors?
We listen, Brian, to the assurances coming from President Bush, the clear-cut statements that I heard yesterday on TV here from Secretary Baker. We understand that the U.S. is firm on its policy, and again, if they can achieve their policy by this means, we have obviously no objection.
You have no concern about potential linkage to the Palestinian issue in those talks?
Well, of course, Saddam will try to raise it. He is trying to raise it. He's trying to create a false...
But you have no concern that the United States will buy into it?
The United States, again, has assured us that it will not fall into this trap. They expect Saddam to do it as we do. They expect him to try to throw dust in the world's eye by trying to shift attention to us and to create these false symmetries between his aggression in the Gulf and Israel's self-defense in the war of 1967. But I think the United States is not going to buy it.
But if not next week, if not next month, is it not inevitable that the U.S. Arab coalition will eventually press Israel on the Palestinian issue?
I don't think it has to. We are the first ones who are eager to arrive at a negotiated solution to this. But a solution has to be realistic. It has to understand that in the Middle East, in the absence of democracies, when you have Saddam Hussein and Arafat in league to destroy Israel and destroy others, the only peace that will endure is a peace that can be defended. And Israel has to have the means to defend itself. I think that is an understanding that we share with the United States.
There is a report out of London coming from the BBC that the United States has proposed that the UN Security Council should consider convening an international peace conference on the Mideast. How would you view that?
Brian, I heard those reports like you just a short while ago. I understand there's also a report of a U.S. denial. I cannot confirm it.
I have not seen the denial, but go ahead.
But I think what we have are scanty reports and also some reports to the contrary. So I don't want to presume U.S. policy on this. Our position on the international conference has been constant and not changed. We've said that the way you make peace in practice, the way you really get to peace, is by getting to one Arab country at a time. If in Camp David you had Sadat and Begin sitting not with each other with the help of the United States, but if you had Gaddafi there, Saddam Hussein, Assad, there wouldn't have been peace. So we want to go at peace step by step, one by one. If we try to jumble them all together, we're not going to get peace. We're going to get at least a verbal shooting match and perhaps leading to something worse.
Benjamin Netanyahu. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's 1/4 past the hour. We're back in just a moment. This is Today on NBC.